The Master Key System, Part 1. It is my privilege to enclose herewith Part 1 of the Master Key System. Would you bring into your life more power? Get the power consciousness. More health? Get the health consciousness. More happiness? Get the happiness consciousness. Live the spirit of these things until they become yours by right. It will then become impossible to keep them from you. The things of the world are fluid to a power within man by which he rules them. You need not acquire this power. You already have it. But you want to understand it. You want to use it, and you want to control it. You want to impregnate yourself with it so that you can go forward and carry the world before you. Day by day, as you go on, and as you gain momentum, and as your inspiration deepens, as your plans crystallize, as you gain understanding, you will come to realize that this world is no dead pile of stones and timber, but that it is a living thing. It is made up of the beating hearts of humanity. It is a thing of life and beauty. It is evident that it requires understanding to work with material of this description. But those who come into this understanding are inspired by a new light, a new force. They gain confidence and greater power each day. They realize their hopes and their dreams come true. Life has a deeper, fuller, and clearer meaning than before. Okay, this is the foreword to chapter 1. Every chapter has an introduction or foreword, and it gives a summary of what is to be expected. And for the classes themselves, we will chop up paragraph per paragraphs into a group of 5 or 6 paragraphs. We always do a listen first, then we analyze it, and then we do a re-listen. Here with the introductions, I will simply do a recap to make sure that we understand what the author Charles Haanel wrote in the introduction part. So, introduction to part 1 of the Master Key System. This is Dr. Drlieven speaking to you for the VIP team. And he starts off with, would you bring into your life more power? Get the power consciousness. And as you will discover, he keeps using the word consciousness throughout the entire book, the Master Key System, as equivalent to intelligence, equivalent to awareness. So if you would like to have more power in your life, you need to become aware of power. You need to become conscious of power, knowing about power. You need to develop intelligence about power. And he says the same thing about health. If you want health, then you need to become aware of health, and naturally also aware of the laws and principles of health. The same thing with happiness. You want to increase your happiness, it begins with becoming aware of happiness. Then he says, live the spirit of these things until they become yours by right. The spirit is the essence, is the core. So live the spirit. Don't just read them, don't just think about them, become one with them, think them, breathe them, and eventually then they become yours by right. by right of the fact that you put in your effort, your repetition, and therefore now you gain ownership over them. So live the spirit of these things until they become yours by right. It will then become impossible to keep them from you. See, that's one thing. The amazing thing with knowledge, and especially with wisdom knowledge, nobody can steal that from you. They can rob you of everything else in your life. You can be robbed of every physical good. The one thing they cannot rob from you is insight, understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. So when you have impregnated yourself with it, then automatically they become not only part of you, they become you to an extent that you can never lose them again. The things of the world are fluid to a power within man by which he rules them. So all the things of the world, and that includes any aspect, whether you're talking about your own body, about your health, whether you're talking about your finances, about a business, whether you're talking about a relationship, whether you're talking about the physical things in terms of buildings or a yacht or whatever it may be, the things of the world are fluid, they're connected with a power within man. In the master key system, you hear this constant duality between the world within and the world without. Well, obviously, we're talking about that what we have on the inside of our mind, and a power within man. And that power within is the same power with which he rules these things, rather than the other way around. And that is also how one does not become addicted or the slave to these things, because you are in control of them, not the other way around. And you need not acquire this power, you already have it. This is very, very valuable, because unfortunately, the whole self-development industry has become this acquisition industry where they make you feel like you missed this and you missed that and you missed there. And obviously, why is that? Because they want to sell you another book, and they want to sell you another seminar, and they want to sell you another degree. No, we already have all what we need inside of us. We just need to learn how to use it, and you will never be able to use it until the day you become aware of it. Again, the consciousness is awareness, is knowing that it is there, and then coming to know its parameters, and therefore coming to be able to use it. So you do not need to acquire that power, you already have it. I mean, right there, what a wonderful, what a full statement that building your power, building your capacity is building your confidence, your self-confidence. Here you have that power already inside of you. But you want to understand it. You want to fully comprehend it. You want to be able to stand under it. Stand under as the foundation. And that comes through obviously through studying it. Once you gain understanding, you will then be able to use it, and then you'll be able to control it. So it is with everything we learn. Again, the image of the helicopter pilot in relationship with the law of gravity. He is going to want to understand the law of gravity. Then he becomes able to use the law of gravity, and over time of using it, he then becomes in complete control over it. So you want to impregnate yourself with it, and this is a very powerful word, impregnate, becoming pregnant with it. This is a statement that has been made throughout history by all the great people. B.J. Palmer, the developer of chiropractic, would say, you need to become one with the bone, and then you become a real chiropractor. So the karate master who says, gives the instruction on how you can go with your hand through a pile of stones, will say you need to become one with the stone. And you may have heard in the sports world, whether it's golf or tennis, that you need to get into the zone. Well, all of this is this connection between what is out there and making sure it connects with that what you have inside of you. So you become one with it, you connect with it. In the movie Avatar, you connect with your dragon. So you want to impregnate yourself. Here, make yourself pregnant with the knowledge that is embedded in the master key system, and then it can begin to work for you, so that you can go forward and carry the world before you. Carry the world. I mean, what an image in terms of power and strength and capacity, right? You carry the world and you can go forward, triumphant in statement. And then he promises you that day by day, as you go on, and this is by repeating your courses, your classes every day. Every day you listen to an MP3, or you're watching a PowerPoint, or you watch another video, or you close your eyes and you listen to it. As you do that day by day, you will gain momentum. Momentum is that like a flying wheel to an engine, which at first runs very, very slowly. It may take a lot of effort to get it into motion, but once it gets going, it has a non-stoppable momentum. And as your inspiration deepens, as your plans crystallize, as you gain understanding. So what are these three conditions here? Your inspiration deepens is how inspired, how high is your desire, how deep is your vision, how far is your vision. As your plans crystallize, as you make things that you set out as a wish, as they come into reality, and then as you gain understanding, all of this will bring you to a level that you will come to realize that this world is no dead pile of stones and timber, but that it is a living thing. So this is especially referring to the fact that everything is alive. Even the desk you're sitting at, the chair you're sitting in, even your computer, if you look at the atoms on a quantum physical level, it is alive, it is vibrating. And that is one of the things you will truly come to not only know, you're going to come to feel that. It is made up of the beating hearts of humanity. Talking about it is vivid, it is real, it is alive. And he says it is a thing of life, and it is a thing of beauty. Beauty is obviously very interconnected with harmony, is very interconnected with balance. It is evident that it requires understanding with material of this description. If we're talking about something of that high level of value, we need to gain understanding to be able to work with it. But those who come into the understanding, and again here is a promise he makes, those who come into understanding, those who are really getting to know this with deep understanding, they will be inspired by a new light and a new force. Have you ever seen somebody walk into a room and it's as if they light up the whole room because they have this charisma, they have this enthusiasm? They have like a shine coming out of them, an aura around them. Even their eyes may look like diamonds. But that is what happens. A new force, a new light. It ends up reflecting even in the tonality of your voice. You will gain confidence. You will gain greater power each day. And you will realize that your hopes and your dreams come true. Now, this is not some cheesy, kumbaya, let's hope it kind of maybe will work like a lotto ticket or going to the casino. No, this is based on very logical, scientific, very law of nature based accuracy. So you come to realize that your hopes that you have, your wishes that you have, your dreams that you have, that you can make them into a reality. Life, in other words, ends up getting a much deeper meaning, a more full meaning, and a much clearer meaning than before. Because for most people, life in and of itself can get very confusing. We're living in changing times, and changing times bring chaos and confusion. We're going from one level of order to a higher level of order, and that means that very typically there is transition, there is change, and that change for a lot of people means confusion. Some throw their hands up in the air and want to give up. Instead, with the Master Key system, you will actually come to gain a deeper meaning to life, a fuller meaning to life, and a much clearer view on life. Now, after this introduction, I can't wait to introduce you to class number 1, which will take you from paragraph 1 to paragraph 5. Enjoy this chapter, and I'm really excited for you in terms of what lies ahead in coming to know the Master Key system.